Welcome, dear learner. My name is Jessica, and this is Build Your English. I'm so happy to have you here today. In this episode, we're going to talk about something that every English learner needs in real life: how to apologize and explain mistakes naturally and politely. We all make mistakes, and that's completely normal. What truly matters is how we respond to them. Being able to say sorry in English the right way shows emotional intelligence, respect, and confidence. So, in this lesson, we'll learn 25 must-know phrases to help you handle different situations, from small, everyday moments to more serious or professional ones. If this episode helps you, don't forget to subscribe to Build Your English. It really means a lot and helps me keep making more lessons for you. Now, let's begin with some simple, everyday ways to say sorry in English. These are phrases you can use with friends, classmates, coworkers, or even strangers when something small goes wrong. When you make a small mistake, the easiest and most natural phrase is, "I'm sorry about that." For example, if you bump into someone or forget to reply quickly, you can say, "I'm sorry about that." It's short, polite, and warm. Next, when the mistake is very small or casual, you can say, "My bad." It's informal but friendly and very common among native speakers. For example, you drop someone's pen. You can smile and say, "Oh, my bad." It shows you take responsibility in a light-hearted way. Sometimes when something happens suddenly, you can use, "Oops, I didn't mean to." It's great for small accidents, like spilling water or interrupting someone by mistake. "Oops, I didn't mean to." It sounds gentle and human. Another common one is, "Sorry for the mix-up." This is perfect when there's confusion, like two people showing up at the wrong time or getting the wrong message. For example, "Sorry for the mix-up. I thought the meeting was tomorrow." It sounds polite and clear. When you lose focus or accidentally ignore something, you can say, "Sorry, I wasn't paying attention." For example, if someone repeats a question, you can say, "Sorry, I wasn't paying attention for a second." It shows honesty and awareness. When you disturb someone slightly, a very useful phrase is, "Sorry to bother you." For example, "Sorry to bother you. Could you help me for a moment?" It's polite, respectful, and perfect for both daily life and office conversations. We also often use, "Sorry, I'm late," when we arrive after the expected time. You can make it sound more natural by adding a short reason. "Sorry, I'm late. The traffic was really bad today." It shows you care about others' time. Sometimes you realize a mistake only afterward. You can use, "I didn't realize that." For instance, "I didn't realize that today was the deadline." It sounds genuine and helps you stay calm even in a mistake. When you take full responsibility for something small, you can simply say, "That was my mistake." For example, "That was my mistake. I should have checked earlier." It's short, honest, and clear. And finally, when you completely forget to do something, the best phrase is, "I completely forgot." For example, "I completely forgot to send the message. I'm really sorry about that." It shows honesty, and people usually appreciate it when you admit it openly. Now, take a moment to think. Which of these phrases do you use most often in your daily life? Maybe you've said, "I'm sorry" 100 times, but now you know 10 other natural ways to say it. So, Let's move on to our next section, where we'll learn how to apologize politely in formal or professional situations. Now that we've covered how to apologize in casual, everyday moments, let's move on to more formal or professional situations. These phrases are perfect for work, business emails, school, or anytime you need to sound more respectful and professional. When you want to sound polite and clear, the first phrase you can use is, "I apologize for the inconvenience." This one is very common in business communication. For example, "I apologize for the inconvenience. Our delivery was delayed due to weather conditions." It's formal, kind, and shows professionalism. Another useful one is, "Please accept my apology." It's a grace way to take responsibility, especially in writing or polite conversation. You might say, "Please accept my apology for the misunderstanding." It sounds sincere and gentle, not overly dramatic. If you want to show that you are fully responsible, use, "I take full responsibility." This is powerful because it shows maturity and honesty. For instance, "I take full responsibility for the delay in sending the report." People respect this kind of honesty in professional settings. Sometimes the mistake is not intentional, just a small error. You can say, "It was an oversight on my part." For example, "It was an oversight on my part. I should have checked the data twice." This phrase sounds thoughtful and professional, showing that you understand your role in the situation. If you want to sound serious and express regret, you can say, "I shouldn't have done that." For example, "I shouldn't have shared that information without confirming first." It shows that you recognize what went wrong and are learning from it. When the mistake affects someone personally, you can say, "I owe you an apology." For instance, "I owe you an apology for missing your call earlier." It sounds heartfelt, honest, and emotionally intelligent. A more formal and emotional version is, "I truly regret what happened." This phrase works when you want to show sincere emotion, especially in a written apology or when the situation is serious. For example, "I truly regret what happened during the meeting, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen again." It sounds responsible and compassionate. And finally, you can use, "I hope you can forgive the mistake." It's simple, respectful, and shows humility. For instance, "I hope you can forgive the mistake. I'll do better next time." It closes the apology with warmth and sincerity. Let's take a moment to reflect. When we use these professional phrases, the tone and attitude are just as important as the words. Speak calmly, clearly, and slowly. A sincere voice often repairs more than the apology itself. Now that you've learned how to apologize politely and professionally, let's move to the final section: how to explain and fix mistakes while staying positive and confident. Now that we've talked about how to say sorry, it's time to learn how to explain what happened and show that you are taking steps to fix it. Because a true apology is not only about saying the right words, it's about taking responsibility and showing growth. When you need to describe what went wrong, one of the most natural phrases is, "I misunderstood the situation." For example, "I misunderstood the situation and sent the wrong file." It's simple, polite, and focuses on what happened, not on blaming others. Sometimes the mistake happens because you didn't have all the details. You can say, "I didn't have the full information when I made that decision." It shows you were doing your best but lacked the complete picture. Another phrase that works well when your intention was good but the result wasn't is, I was trying to help, but it didn't work out as I planned. It's honest and gentle, showing your good intention while accepting the outcome. If the problem comes from missing something important, you can say, I should have double-checked the schedule before confirming it. This phrase is powerful because it admits the mistake and shows reflection at the same time. A very mature and positive way to close an apology is, I've learned from this and it won't happen again. This shows growth, responsibility, and confidence. For example, I've learned from this and it won't happen again. Thank you for your patience. People respect that kind of calm honesty. Another similar phrase that focuses on improvement is, I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. You can say, I'll make sure it doesn't happen again by checking all details next time. This sounds responsible, proactive, and positive, a perfect phrase for both personal and professional situations. Finally, to end your explanation on a warm note, you can use, thank you for your understanding. This is a beautiful and polite phrase that expresses gratitude after an apology. For example, thank you for your understanding. I really appreciate your patience. It closes the situation gracefully and leaves a kind impression. Now take a deep breath. Apologizing and explaining mistakes can feel uncomfortable, but every time you do it, you become stronger and more confident. When you use these phrases with sincerity, you show not only your English skills, but also your maturity and empathy. And these are exactly the qualities that help you grow both in English and in life. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Build Your English. Your support truly helps me keep creating lessons for learners all around the world. And I'd love to know, which phrase will you try using this week? Leave your answer in the comments. Dear learner, keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and keep building your English step by step. Until next time, speak kindly and communicate with confidence.